Hey guys, what's up? It's Steez with 4Dads Golf here, coming at you with another 2K25 video. Today I'm going to be going over the Sculptor build, probably the best build in the game in my opinion. I know within the last month or two when this game came out originally, I went with the Powerhouse build, but I did kind of do some digging on Reddit and kind of found the Sculptor build that can get you pretty much similar distance off the tee. And in my opinion, the Powerhouse build really isn't even that overpowering with how much power you get, which is kind of a bummer because usually that's how it works. Is like you get a lot more power normally in these games, especially with in the last games or EA Sports PGA Tour and things like that, where it's just so much different. But here, this one, it doesn't make too much of a difference. You do not want to stay with Powerhouse. That one is definitely gone. I know they definitely, buffed that build. But before I jump into it, go over the stats and what I recommend, what, attributes you should do, what skills you should put on your player. Definitely please leave a like if you guys are new to the channel. Definitely subscribe and don't forget to turn on the notifications so you don't miss another 4Dads Golf video. We just had an awesome video that we recently just came out with, a 9-hole stroke match play, real life golf with probably one of the best par saves you'll ever see in your life. And that is not clickbait. I'm not even kidding. Definitely check it out. But now let's get into the video, okay? So like I mentioned earlier, currently, I think when the game originally dropped and you used the Powerhouse build, the most power you could get off of the tee was like 299 yards, right? So, and that's with a 99 power. As you see here, this player in the Sculptor build level 100, 99 overall, he has 80, not 99, 80. And then if you look down to the bottom right on the golf bag one, it says the driver, which stands for D, down below, is 294 yards. So you're only giving up about 5 yards to give yourself much better contact, better swing path, correction, recovery, all these things to make the game so much more easy and also help you out if you don't have the perfect swing. So let's go over the stats really quickly. Like I said, power is only at 80 and I'm getting 294. So I don't even need really much there. There's not much of a need because the cool thing is about that is since the Powerhouse build is not so overpowered, you don't need that. You really don't. I've seen a lot of streamers nowadays, especially in this game, they don't use it. They don't have, I might see like 290 off the driver because it's so minimal that it's not that big of a deal anymore, at least from how 2K25 is and how they kind of buff the Powerhouse where it's kind of pointless. So kind of a bummer that I wasted so much time and money and VC for that build, but I have the Sculptor build now. But now you go over to Contact, I got that at a 76. That just allows for more hook and slice forgiveness. Correction, I thought this was honestly going to be a lot more than I expected. This determines the natural draw and fade bias severity. So like when you have the swing stick like this, in the circle, and you got to go like this angle, awkwardly diagonally, it kind of turns that so it's more up and down instead of diagonal. But no matter what, and I've seen in Reddit too, if you get to 99 correction, it's not going to ever go straight up and down and make it super simple. You're always going to have some kind of bias, whether it's draw or fade. I did make a video previously that I show you which thumbstick I recommend using a draw and fade bias. Definitely want to check that out to help you if you're struggling with that. Comes to shaping, I put it at 75. Honestly, I don't really shape too many of my shots. The only time I really shape my shots is when I'm trying to get that swing, that swing path. Excuse me, that swing path as close to up and down as possible. Especially when I'm in an uneven lie, I definitely try to turn it so it's easier to get for me. I don't really try to hook things around. I don't really get myself into too much trouble. So that's where I have it at 75. Recovery, you try to get this as high as you can. I have seen, it depends on the player if they like it or not. I like it in the 80s if possible. The higher the better because it turns those, light rough lies from 90% to 96%. Those deep rough from 75, maybe an 85%. Where it's taking away your shot, the strength of it. So definitely want to keep recovery in there. Transition, I got at 70. This just helps determine the backswing to downswing forgiveness. And then the rhythm determines the timing forgiveness and the transition from when you go down to up. And then let's see, putt weight. These, honestly, I get so confused with these. I just put these in the 50s and 60s, and honestly, it doesn't really bother me too much. My putting is pretty okay in my opinion. I only play on pro difficulty on all the societies and matchmaking and all that. So when I do that, I'm used to it. I got it all down, and that works for me. But if you want to see the distances of my clubs on the bottom right, we'll go through the golf bag really quickly. The driver is 294. My 3-wood, I got a 3-wood 263. Then I go straight to the 3-iron because I've noticed that when I use woods from the long distance, especially if you're in like a fairway bunker and you have a long way, that if you use a wood, it'll drop it down to about 75 to 60, maybe even 65 to like 80%, compared to if you have an iron, you could get it anywhere from like 75 to 90 or 75 to 85, which makes it a little bit easier, not losing too much power when you're putting yourself in tough situations. Then I got the 4-iron 222, 5-iron 209, 6 197, 7-iron 186, 8-iron 173, 9-iron 162, pitching wedge 145, 50 degree 131, 56 115, 60 degree 104, and I just learned today that the putter goes 9 yards. Okay, that's not true because I've seen a lot of putts that go a lot farther than that. But now that's it for the attributes part of it. Now let's see what skills I gave my player here. When it comes to tee skills, I just do the tee shot. There's nothing that you really need here, honestly. I'm not a big choke tee shot guy. I don't think having a full swing with the reduced carry distance off the tee is beneficial to me compared to other things that I want to use. The stinger, same. If I hit it into the wind, it's okay. I don't really want to go low. It's a difficult shot already, and it doesn't have too much of it's a very small little swing path for you to go through there, which is difficult. So, but when it comes to approach skills, on the other hand, I almost max everything out here. As you see, I got the approach maxed out. I got choked approach mainly just over here, just because I wanted off the deck. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough to get the contact proficiency boost from off the deck, but I wanted to have something where I could maybe go driver off the deck if needed. If I needed a little bit more distance and I'm not going downhill, downwind. I obviously have the knockdown shot type, which is pretty nice because it's a low flying full shot with added spin, allowing the ball to reduce the rollout. So, if you're hitting a hybrid and you don't have much room to work with and you can't let it run, and that by hitting a hybrid or a 3-wood or something like that, or a long iron or anything like that, it's going to roll out a decent amount. Well, this stops it, so that's nice. Spinner, in my opinion, is probably one of the best shots, if not best shot in the game besides pick from the bunker. You definitely want to add this to your bag if you don't have it already. This is absolutely OP. I use this every single time I get within 30 to 60 yards, every single time, because this ball is going to stop and check every single time. You might miss it a little bit left if you're a righty, a little bit right if you're a lefty, but overall, it's just an amazing shot. Runner, I just put this in so I can get the spinner, and then pitch. Obviously, I max all that one out because I use that one consistently as well. It is unfortunate with the pitch shot though that you're not able to get too much spin, and even when you try to add spin manually by using the left bumper, that doesn't give you any extra spin. I believe that's probably because you have the spinner and all these other shot types that kind of take that away. So moving over to recovery now, I just have the punch shot a little bit. I don't really use too much punch shots. I rarely get stuck behind trees, and if I do, I can just change the height of the shot. Nothing crazy there, but what I do recommend doing is maxing out flop and the super flop. The super flop is absolutely OP, especially close and you're in the rough and you have very little room to work with, very little green to work with. This is very, very beneficial to you, making sure that you are able to get your ball close without it rolling out that much. And it's not too difficult to use. And even if you miss it, as long as you get aim a little bit left for righties and right for lefties, you're gonna at least put yourself in a nice 5-foot radius around the hole, which is huge. Going over to bunker, I think I almost had everything maxed out here. Probably should have taken off blast a little bit here. Honestly, if I were to redo specs this, which I might, I never use blast. Not the biggest fan of blast, but splash, got that set up. Power pick, I don't really have that set just because, I don't know, I just don't really see myself in bunkers that are about 70, 80 yards away from the hole. But pick definitely is recommended. I know a lot of these builds, if you don't know already, I will say this out, just let this PSA, that you need to have an 85 overall in specific builds in order to unlock the pick, in order to unlock for this one, which is I believe it's the knockdown. I think this is the sculptor one. Obviously with this one, it's another build. I think it's technician, I believe. 85 overall. Once you get them to that, then you unlock this for every single build that you want to, as long as you have the skill points in order to do that. So yeah, the pick, super OP because the ball just stops within about a yard or so, sometimes less depending on the lie and things like that. Just a great shot to have in your bag. Green side, I don't really, I'll tell you what I did with the green side. The only thing I really wanted was this right here. If I can scroll all the way down. This is it. Green reader, proficiency boost. This turns, if you can see right there on the, oop, I'm kind of blocking it. Let me move this over a tad. I just realized that my screen was there, so I apologize for that. Let me just move it over a little bit. So if you take a look right now and you see that the green reader on the right side there, it shows on the left side, the squares are kind of more separated, bigger, and then on the right side, they're like smaller, right? So that is what you're going to see on the green. That's what you want. You need to get the green reader boost. This is huge because it takes, when you're on the green and you see those little beads moving left and right, you get more of those beads. You see a lot more of them, getting a better idea of the speed of the green rather than seeing bigger squares on the green and you only get a certain amount of them to see, if that makes sense. It's very, very helpful, very, very beneficial because you are able to get a little bit more of an idea and kind of a guess as to what the, what the ball will do, what the green is reading and things like that. It's super beneficial. Honestly, everything else I don't even use. Texas wedge, I rarely use this. Lag putt, never. Even with super long putts, I just don't do it. Don't find the benefit of it. Chip, I kind of set that up always, just or max that out, just because again, chipping is great in this game if you can figure it out. I finally got through it and I understand what to do. And then with the clubhouse pass skills, tie spinner, this shot used to literally be so overpowering, and then they buffed it, which sucks. But that is it for the skills part of it. Let's check out what I have in my bag and what specs I use. I think it's specs, or maybe I think it might be fittings. What fittings I use. Let's check those out. I'll show you what is recommended and what you should do to give yourself the best sculptor build possible. All right, so earlier I mentioned, let me move my thing over just a little bit, my webcam. So I mentioned previously that I was only at 80 when it came to the power of the build, right? And how I could still hit it 294. The reason for that was based off of fittings, especially when it comes to the driver. Typically, I wouldn't be able to hit it that far. But if you see here, I have 3 fittings. And now if you are on, I think it's Sapphire, you have a +4 for every single fitting that you put on your club. So for example, here I have 3 fittings right here. And all 3 of these that I'm showing you right here, all power. So that means 3 times 4, I have 12 plus 12 of the power. So typically I would have an 80, but with these fittings, it boosts me up to a 92, which gives me a 294 drive. Now I also add in correction +2, which are the 2 X's on the right side here. And then you got to wait for season 2 in order to move farther, and you might have even better specs and things like that. So the correction, it just makes things a little bit easier as well. And I boosted that up 2 times 4, so +8. And that's what I did with all of my clubs. I'm almost positive I did. Let me just double check here. See, as you see here on the left of the screen there, it says power +12, correction +8. Move over, power with the 3 wood. I got the same thing, power +12, correction +8. Irons, same thing, power +12, correction +8. Same thing with the wedges, power +12, correction +8. And then personal preference wise, I'll get into my putters to show you what I recommend, at least what I go through here. Let me see, what do I got here? Okay, so I got it here. So I have this one as the putt weight and putt contact are the 2 that I have on. I have 2 and 2, which again, this is still Sapphire, even though it is gold. It says limited edition. So some of the clubs are limited edition. Sometimes they put them up in the store or the PGA Tour Superstore. Some of them you can win, like this one. If you beat Tiger Woods within my career, you win this one. And that's why it's gold, but it's still Sapphire. So it's +4 again for all those fittings as well. I do putt weight and putt contact. It brings my putt contact up to 70 from a 61. It brings up my putt weight from a 53 to a 61. So it makes it a little bit better, making it a little bit easier for me to putt. And those are my personal preferences. But in order to get the distance that you lose in this, I definitely recommend going the power +12 here. The thing is, if you were to go one more and get it to +16, there's really no reason for that at all. it'll put you at 95 and you might get like 296, but the max you can drive, even on Powerhouse, the full build is 297 yards. So you're only missing out on 3 yards. It's not even worth it. Add it to correction. Give yourself a little bit of help with the swing bias there. When it comes to golf ball, as of right now, I'm just using the Forgiveness golf ball. I like it. It makes things easy for me, just in case I mishit it, which I do a decent amount of time. I average probably like a 10 to 13 under every single time I play on pro. Not tooting my own horn there, but that's just my average. So I do make mistakes from here and there. I don't get to play as consistently as I like to, but these are the specs that are going to give you the best sculptor build, in my opinion. Let me know in the comments what you guys do, what you guys think the best, build is, what you guys think the best skills are. Maybe some skills I don't have that I should. I thought I have it pretty set up well, but I think there are some that I could take away if I have to respec it. The only downside is you got to pay 500 VC for that, which sucks. But regardless, guys, that's gonna do it for the video. If you guys did get something out of this, please leave a like. It would go a long way for us. Definitely subscribe if you are new to the channel, and don't forget to turn on those notifications so you don't miss any more 4Dads Golf videos, whether it's 2K25 content, in real life golf content, our 4Dads podcasts, and things like that. But that's it from me, Teeds, 4Dads Golf. I'll see you guys out later. Don't forget to stay fly and go low.